As the Spanish television presenter says on El Chiringo 2, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Today on the Sammy Show special, it wasn't it, Ben? We will be diving deeper into our undercover reporter's findings within the DCMS. With the DCMS secretary, Lee Heathcote, telling her bill makers, teach these arseholes a lesson. I have the person behind this all. Under her persona of Casey Montego, she infiltrated the DCMS. She found all the dirty secrets the government were hiding, and here at GB News, we've released them, and more is to come. Okay, tell me when I...
Hello and welcome to TV News. My name is Sammy, and I don't like Irish people. Um, so I'm Sammy from the Sammy Show. Thanks for tuning in. There's so much to delve into. Let's start with what causes domino effect. This afternoon, ITV owner Nathless uncovered that the DCMS secretary retweeting Daily Mail tweets using the DCMS Twitter, which if you didn't know, put it on the DCMS tweet shift, which exists in the DCMS Discord, so it's basically like an announcement, whilst being rolled as an employee in the Daily Mail server, which in fact breaks ministerial code. As this was uncovered, the DCMS secretary rushed hurriedly to the DCMS server to slam Nathless for publicly highlighting this, which is basically an attack on the media. The debacle in the DCMS continued when it was uncovered that this month's Media Maestro Award, shortlist of 4, which is decided by the department, included Red Media, which has one post that wasn't even from this month. It was actually in July. And it basically just says that we're going to be streaming something soon, like a business fair or something. And this was coupled with the fact that the Irish media company Liberty News, which also happened to be owned by the foreign secretary, was also included in a UK Media Maestro Award. So it's a pretty, spicy coincidence that you have an Irish media company owned by the foreign secretary on a UK Media Maestro Award. And, despite the shortlist existing for around 4 days, because they announced it multiple times for those 4 days to vote, Red Media was removed less than an hour after GB News posted a tweet showing the findings, right? A short while later, our investigative journalist contacted us, who we had planted in the Department for Digital Culture, Media and Sport after we smelt something fishy going on. Showing us a proposed bill which Lily, the DCMS secretary, asked her DCMS employees, which happened to be our investigative journalist, to write. This bill, to put it simply, and in the words of the DCMS secretary, was to make companies like ours lose perks. And this was to once again quote the DCMS secretary, teach these arseholes a lesson. Alright, I can tell you now that Tim Ruark went into, you know, a state of mild depression after that. He was really upset. So, you know, it is a pretty big thing. And the government quite literally wanted to silence media companies for not, you know, sucking up to their work, right? The Media Participation Bill, a bill which the DCMS Secretary endorsed and signed, would cause all media companies whose owners have been previously politically aligned, i.e. most of the community, right? Because this is just, you know, being a candidate in a party, pretty much, right? To forcibly be deregistered, and that would result in her having the ability to choose who's registered and who isn't registered under the name of preventing bias. But anyway, I think that the real Sammy is back
Yeah,
now.
I'm back. I got
Wonderful.
DDoSed by the what's it called, by the DCMS. They had a designated strike on my internet. Okay, where were we up to? Okay, so we had just done the. Okay. I don't actually know. Where did we get to, Tim? Okay, read that. Read that. What's reported us to? Okay, from Ofcom. Okay. Oh, basically, the DCMS secretary has just reported us to Ofcom. Live news story. Why these people are so useless? Okay. We just received a immediate leak from NafeDog 208 that we have been reported to Ofcom for terrible broadcasting. Apparently, that's been told in a gov.uk ticket, which isn't very poggers by Lily. So have we talked about the fact that Lily called us all assholes, created a bill on purpose to try and get rid of us, and that we were able to uncover all of it with our undercover operative who we had planted within the DCMS about 2 weeks ago to spy on them for us because we thought something was a bit iffy. Okay, so we've done all that. Let's have a look here. So the debacle on the DCMS continued when it was uncovered that this month's Media Meister Award shortlist 4. Have you read this bit? Someone like spam me if you have. Okay, so the script's all done. So it's just waffle. Okay, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to the interview with the undercover operative within the DCMS. Sorry about this message we just had. If we roll to the interview now, we'll be able to come back better than ever once we've figured out what's happening after the recent DDoS by Lydia Heathcote. To the interview, we now go to our investigative journalist who's been responsible for the leaks day in the DCMS. We've distorted their voice so they don't get taken out by DCMS hit squad later on.
Good afternoon.
So, what can you tell us about what's been happening in the DCMS today?
So I think it's important to understand the frustration with the general public in regards to the DCMS recently. Recently, there's obviously been allegations that the senior leadership team within the DCMS, including the Secretary of State, the Prime Minister, and the Minister of State, not actually taking into account the transparency that is required within the government's department. Now, what we need to see is a department that wishes to give off the best of opportunities to everyone, regardless of their race, sex, anything from that really. And I think this is a massive call for the Secretary of State and the rest of the team to actually resign. And I'm more than interested to actually sit into PMQs today and actually see what's actually being said. And I think it's important to actually understand that, yeah, she may have not wrote the bill. However, she endorsed it and she approved it, and so did her team. And I think that should be taken into account and should resign with immediate effect.
Okay, why do you think she should resign? Can you show us what you've seen?
So obviously we can see on this picture that her ministers and her team agrees with the Media Participation Bill of 2021. Now, it may not be actually introduced within the Chamber and the House as of yet, however, obviously it's taken into consideration, and I don't even think the Prime Minister's actually had a chance to view it yet. So obviously we haven't got his side of the story. However,
In the picture, it said that he'd actually seen it and he was happy with it. Leaked messages, wasn't it?
nope.
Okay, but Liddy was happy with it, was she?
Yeah. So as we can see, she says, "No, I've ruined my reputation. This is all my fault." Now, this is guilt tripping to the general public, and obviously, this needs to be looked at more thoroughly. It's drama after drama within the DCMS. Now, there's two options that I would advise the Prime Minister. That would be to abolish the department or to do complete reformations, get a new Minister of State, get a new permanent Undersecretary, and get a new Secretary of State who actually cares about the people and will have a good kind of relationship with the kind of, the media outlets.
What do you think about the fact that she called the major media companies of ITV News and GB News assholes?
I think it's very, I can't put into words how unprofessional and how mature that is coming from a person who should be looked up to, and obviously should, have that kind of responsibility to actually maintain a good relationship with every single media outlet, regardless of their status and who actually owns it. And obviously,
Interestingly enough, in that bill it says that people who are currently affiliated with a party won't be able to actually take part in a media company. Is that true?
yeah. So obviously,
The thing is, though, isn't Lily a member of staff of the Daily Mail? She works for the Daily Mail.
well, no, this whole kind of drama today that unfolded before our eyes today. Obviously, I've got no kind of direct kind of arguments with Lily. I think she's an amazing person in my kind of perspective, anyway. But it's the fact that she doesn't have control over her department, and I think that's a wake-up call for the department.
Dina Hiko is pulling the strings currently.
Yeah, at this moment in time, I think the Prime Minister has full control of the department, and Lily cannot make decisions without informing him.
So, what can you tell us about this image?
Yeah, so obviously, as we can see, I joined the press conference, man, to obviously ensure transparency is actually met within the department as a whole. And, as we can see here, the Secretary of State does say, the Prime Minister is being weird about this whole situation and quote unquote being annoying. Obviously, she's saying that me working in the department would be great, obviously because of my experience I bring from other communities. However, it's before our eyes here. Secretary of State says exactly, but he treats the DCMS as his own little world.
Why do you think he treats it as his own little world? Why do you think Dean is so controlling of the DCMS?
I think it's because he is so used to being within the department, and obviously having that control.
Can you tell me, what do you think? What has Lily actually achieved in the DCMS at all since she's taken up the role for months?
Obviously, with the previous screenshots that I've, obviously been sent around throughout tonight's kind of show, she has not proposed a single bill within her parliamentary history. And I think that's important to actually realise and obviously take it into account. Is this the right person for the job? And obviously...
So are you calling for her to resign tonight?
Absolutely. I think it's a massive wake-up call to Lily herself, the whole DCMS, and literally, His Majesty's government.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for coming on.
No worries.
Okay. Okay, welcome back. We've just received breaking news from a White Insider telling us that the DCMS Secretary has confirmed that GB News standings may be affected as a result of what I can only assume is us reporting the current failures within and around the DCMS. This is in relation to her reporting the company to Ofcom and comes shortly after she reported GB News to group staff for hiring an MP who had in fact been removed from their position after we were appointed to the Commons. So, I'm now joined here by the leader of the opposition, I'm not a safe chatter, since Dean Arhivko and Lily Arhivko are both refusing to appear on GB News on the Sammy show. So, I'm not a safe chatter, what do you think about this current situation?
I think it's a total mess. Dean has got to take control of the situation, address the public with this, because otherwise it makes the government look bad. I'll keep my language calm for now.
You think it's bad, the fact that they're publicly calling companies assholes and trying to stop all the major news companies from ever being able to report on news?
Dean's got to address the public and sort this out because he's liable for everything that goes on within the DCMS, even if
Do you
it's his
think
minister.
Lydia Arhico should resign now? You said yesterday she shouldn't resign. Do you think she should resign now?
Yes, there says she shouldn't. I think she should after what's happened today. I
After
think
the
too much evidence has come out from inside
Do
to
you think
stay
that
with the
Dean
job.
is too controlling in the DCMS? Do you think he should take a step back?
I think obviously he should let it be self-sufficient with the ministers, because that's their job. But
Yeah.
if something's gone
Well,
wrong, then he's
as our
got every
source
right to
told
oversee
us
them.
at the DCMS, he's currently taking too much control apparently and stopping the actual ministers from doing what they want to do. Which probably
He's taking too
the
much.
ministers are obviously incompetent.
If he's taking too much control, then he needs to step back, and the permanent secretary should really ask him to step back because it's not his job to be working only in the DCMS. He's the
Okay.
prime minister of 30,000 member plus group. He needs to be focusing on other departments rather than the DCMS.
What do you think about the fact that they were wanting to introduce a bill which would simply make it illegal for every single major company to operate in the UK, every single major news company? Because ITV News would be stopped because Nathan was Prime Minister, GB News would be stopped because we were all in the Dems, BBC News would be stopped because at one point Banks was an MP like 5 years ago. All the major news companies would be stopped. What do you think about that?
Obviously, given that I own Forces News and I'm an MP, I think it's absolute bullshit, that bill. I was sent it, and I don't understand why Lily even signed it. Did she even read it over herself? Like, it blows my mind that that actually happened.
Right, furthermore, I also would like to point out that Lily is actually working for the Daily Mail. If this bill passed, she would have had to have the Daily Mail deregistered. Do you think this is stupid of her? Do you think this is just her own incompetence once again?
Bit of taste of her own medicine, isn't it?
Yeah? Okay. Lily could have complete control or cannot. Lily, under this bill, would have complete control over who can and cannot be registered. Could she provide exemptions to this? Could she control who's able to be in charge of things? How do you think this would work if it was to be introduced?
If it was introduced, which, like I say, is highly unlikely because my opposition would firstly ensure that this does not pass.
Okay.
If it was
Oh
introduced,
no, I've said that wrong. She would have been able to do this. Do you think it's right that she
no,
would have been able
not
to
at
do
all.
this?
She has no authority over any media companies. The way they post, if they want to post fake news, that's up to them. It's Ofcom to decide their rating, but they cannot be stopped for
Do you
that.
think that Ofcom ratings are relevant?
Yes.
Okay. Because at the end of the day, if a company is a poor Ofcom rating, what can actually happen to it? Does it get removed? Does it get deregistered?
Obviously, it's a bit handy for the public to see what is official ratings, but I don't think it's that relevant.
So basically, it's an irrelevant thing which is used by the government to try and influence media companies to be more loyal towards them, because the government obviously has control over the scores, as we saw recently where GB News and other major news companies had reported poorly on the government giving very poor ratings, while companies which hadn't posted in over 2 months were giving excellent ratings.
Yeah,
What do you think
it's
about
not for them to decide.
What do you think about the fact that inside source in Whitehall, we have 2 inside sources, the one that appeared on today's show and another one. A second inside source who didn't appear on today's show told us about the fact that even though he personally did not want the Ofcom results to be released, they were released without his permission, and his name had been signed in that document without his permission.
I think I said it yesterday, everything's just been rushed. They need to slow down, take a step back.
Don't you think this is a bit more than rushing, where they're going over the head of the people that they've introduced?
It is very, very over the top. It needs to be sorted by Dean because he's got to take authority over the situation.
I've just received a statement from Sir Gustav Rhodes, which reads as follows. The Prime Minister has no choice but to dismiss the DCMS Secretary, or she must resign at this point. The hypocrisy is rampant, and the silence of the government in recent times is, in a way, betraying their own trust in the public. Do you agree with this statement? Do you think that this should happen?
Well, I do, yes.
Will you be calling upon in tonight's PMQs when you get to question the Prime Minister
You
tonight?
shall find out in 10 minutes of the session.
So you will be doing that, basically.
You will find
Will you
out.
be calling for the resignation of Dean Heathcote as leader of the Labour Party if he fails to remove Lily?
You shall find out.
So, if Lily is not removed, you will call for the resignation and possibly a vote of no confidence in Dean Heathcote. Thank you
I
very
never
much,
said that.
Chester. Yes, you did.
I
Thank
never
you.
said that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You heard
I
it here
never
first
said
from
that.
GB News. Okay. Anything else that we'd like to discuss? Ask him. The panel team working behind me in the GB News desk room beneath the stage currently. Okay. We're just going to go to a quick advert break, and then we'll be back to finish off the show in a bit. Thank you very much, Safe Chatter, for coming on. Other than that, cheers.
Sammy.
Roadside Cargo Solutions.
Police emergency. Warning markers, violent, kidnap and robbery.
Open the door!
Taser, get over here now!
Don't start resisting. Don't start resisting, mate.
Derbyshire's traffic cops, chasing criminals in the heart of the country.
Stay where you are! Stay where you are!
Policing 1,000 square miles.
Get out! Get out now!
Yeah, they're crossing the southbound carriageway and Paz. We've got a bin site.
Dealing with the dangerous and desperate. In life and death situations.
There's a smell of gas, so can you go inside your house?
Please stay where you are!
Under pressure. And under threat.
He was sat with that behind his back.
Every day is a new challenge for the traffic cops.
Back to the Sammy Show. You join us now live from Westminster, where we will be viewing both PMQs and also finishing off the last bit of our show. So, just to reiterate what's happened this evening, what we've covered so far. The DCMS Secretary signed and directed a bill that would ban all those who've been in a political party in the past 2 years from owning a media company, giving her the right to grant exceptions and essentially control who can and cannot own a media company. This comes after her department has been under fire from GB News and ITV News in particular, and we now believe this will be the primary topic in PMQs. Furthermore, today we received another leak from an inside source in the Treasury, which told us about how the Chancellor of the Exchequer was incapable of controlling his civil servants because he was unable to properly tell them what to do with a company being registered. Other than that, we're now going to go straight into PMQs. We're going to be viewing it today to see what's happening. Here we see Matthew Ainsley walking in, the man who's so far done nothing at all for the Ministry of Justice. And I believe we're also going to be joined by Andre Hodge, who's going to be co-commentating this. Andre,
hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Andre.
yeah.
Are you ready for
yeah, I'm ready.
Here we see We see her here. Lydia Hiko has joined the Parliament game. Hopefully,
I
ready
think
to resign.
I think Sammy. I think that was a little bit harsh on Matthew. I think that if we want to talk about the judiciary so far,
Yeah.
yes, on the surface it does look like it's been steered by Kamala, who is the minister.
You know what I saw interesting though? Kamala wants to introduce a bill that would make it like illegal to discriminate people for like race and stuff. Which I mean, it's a fair thing. But why is Parliament legislating that? That's a group staff issue, not a.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think that if we kind of look at that objectively, I think that you would probably this in practice would probably be in appointing I don't know, civil servants, for example, by the government, or
because they know people. That's how.
And I think as well with like private companies in particular. I don't know how it would work. I guess it would be that the judiciary can kind of review whether they're being fair.
But once again, that's not a judiciary issue. If there's a genuine case of that, then that's for group staff to deal with, not for local courts.
I mean, I guess it's different levels of it, isn't it? I mean, if you just kind of got a company where you haven't got anyone who, say, is in the kind of higher echelons, who is a female, for example, then that probably wouldn't scream that you've got a sexist owner. But it could be for the government to kind of say, could you try and increase this ratio, especially if you've got
but that doesn't really work
a bunch of. No, personally, I mean, I'm not advocating for it. I'm just trying to work out what in practice.
4 girls in the entire group, and it's all boys. So
and one of them's an undercover journalist as well.
One of them is our undercover.
So that basically narrows it down to 3.
We just do these 2 undercover journalists. It narrowed it down to 1 of 4.
4 people. Now this is a disaster. Oh my god.
Tim, remove her. Tim, don't. Tim, no. You're gonna leak the undercover journalist.
Well, you're on the group.
Oh wait, I own the group
so
chat, don't I?
Yeah. Hey, back to our coverage. I mean, as you can see here, I think that is a Northern Irish secretary spamming the USA.
What she's doing.
I think that she's, probably implying something about the DCMS permsec. By spamming USA. I think that might be some subtle, hints about what she thinks. Because regarding the DCMS, it might be a breach of collective responsibility, which she doesn't want to.
The entire Labour government should resign. I think they should all resign.
I mean, I think that's a little bit harsh, Sammy.
I don't think. I think
that's a little bit
resign.
harsh.
We should invade Ireland, and then I think that's what we should do.
I think actually, credit where credit's due. I think Dean has been a great PM. Right? I think that this DCMS debacle shouldn't kind of retract from that. I think that that's, an isolated incident.
But
I think
there's been all the other stuff that reports on though.
I know, but I'm getting there. I think that Dean's definitely been let down
by his
because I think that one of the issues that he faces is that he has a very, diverse cabinet in the sense that you have some people who are really experienced, some people who are basically not experienced at all. Well, I wouldn't say idiots. I mean, I just say people without experience, right?
New people who are
new people. And I think that what the issue is that those new people are isolated into different departments, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's causing him issues within those isolated departments that are coming under fire. If you look at, for example, the MOJ headed by Matthew, right, that has been smooth sailing so far, right? Apart from a few arguments in the MOJ Discord, but that happens that just isn't anything out of the ordinary. But they're always arguing there. I think that hasn't really come under fire yet, right? If you look at the Home Office, I think Archie's done a great job so far.
Okay.
But then you've got, other departments like the DCMS. I'd say the Treasury too has come under a lot of fire recently. I think that his mistake has been to isolate people who maybe aren't as experienced as the others, and that is starting to kind of have negative consequences now as the term progresses. But I think Parliament is about to.
Yeah, they're just getting down to the anthem. I love furries.
Right. So.
That's good.
Yeah.
The big furry song.
Right, here we go. So Yeah.
Let's see if
Just for those who don't know, every Parliament session is opened with the blasting of the national anthem, right? And on the left, obviously, from our perspective, we've got the government, who is a Labour minority government by 1 seat. You've got the Unionist Speaker, SLLP, in the middle. And leader of the opposition, I'm Not Safe Chatham, is Unionist Party on the right, and closer to us on the right is the Conservative Party, which fell quite considerably. I think now they're on 13 seats, which isn't terrible, but they are the smallest party in the Commons.
Their supposed leader isn't here. They're led by Ryan Southwick, a lone snake, and the person.
Yeah.
Of course, we can't.
We don't talk about that. We don't listen. Right. We're not here to pick on people.
He's a snake.
Right. I mean, you can have your own view, I guess, on that, but not really. The GB News do not consider
all that. Ryan
does not call Ryan. Yeah, I think you should just clarify that.
Sammy II does call him a snake.
That is, yes. All right. If you want to, sure. Okay.
Right. Are we ready for? This usually gets really dead really quickly, so we might not stream.
Yeah. Well, it looks like the Prime Minister's going to make his. Oh.
Hopefully, it'll be him telling us that Lily has been sacked because she is incompetent.
Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Do you think he's going to have a special statement at the start of the session, or do you think?
I hope so.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's already happened. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, great. Here we go. DCMS Secretary is about to make a statement. Hopefully it's her leaving.
Well, I can't. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're right. I am not in the game. I'm actually looking at the stream, so it's a bit delayed.
The Queen of Incompetence is coming up to the ballot box.
Hey, yeah. need to calm it down there with the person insults, but yes.
It's fine.
Whatever you say. Right. Now, GB News are predicting a resignation statement here.
I can't wait. I'm so hyped.
Have to watch and see, I guess.
I'd like to begin by saying I'm sorry, sad face. Oh.
I mean, alternatively, I think it would definitely pass if she were to not resign, if she were to just apologize. I think that, this incident would be brushed over pretty quickly. Because like we were saying, he's got, I would consider Lily inexperienced, not in the fact that she's been a cabinet minister, especially in the DCMS for quite a while.
She's been doing that for 4
months.
But
the fact that, within media, I don't think she has as much experience as others. And I think that kind of goes back to my previous point. She's not even
worked in a media company, and yet she was
exactly. I think that goes back to my previous point, of him isolating people who are inexperienced in departments. Because if you look at the minister, I mean, who is the minister? I still don't know who it is because I've not seen him.
There's a DCMS minister.
There is a DCMS minister. Even after he got into office, I've still not seen him.
Who is that?
I do not know. I think it's Chris something.
No, I think
it's Chris something. Babusha, right? Babusha.
Basuba. Who's Basuba?
Basuba.
I don't know. Media company.
I don't believe so. So that kind of just ratifies what I was saying before. I'm just going to do a quick plug here in advance.
If she doesn't resign, this is going to be an absolute travesty.
Some epic commentary.
Get her out of here.
Right. So, you think we're going to see a resignation? I do not think we're going to see a resignation. I don't think we'll see a resignation.
And then Dean will be like, oh, you did a good job, and then she'll continue to do nothing.
I think that she's been in the department now for long enough that she's not going to go easily. I don't think that she should let this kind of incident shape her career. I think that, she does have quite a promising career in front of her, mainly because as it would appear from an outside perspective, and definitely, within Parliament, outside the Labour Party, it definitely looks like Dean has kind of taken her under his wing. Yeah. So I think that she has a lot of potential as a politician. And, well, I mean, I'm not sure what she just said there. She said, trust people not to write rubbish bills. I mean...
Even though she approved it and signed it. This is a good idea.
Stuff that I have directly seen from our undercover journalist in the DCMS,
I
showed
think we should
pretty
release those pictures against the media.
it showed pretty clearly that she was basically the
Openly
architect of that
supported
bill.
it and wanted it.
She basically what happened was she didn't feel confident writing the bill herself, so she asked a civil servant to write it for her. And now I don't appreciate her using that as an excuse and saying that, you know, it wasn't my bill, it was their bill. Right.
We would like to do a
I
live
think
action.
that that actually
Andre, just look in the group chat.
Look in the
Gustav
group
Rhodes
chat.
has released another statement. People shouldn't blame Dino Heathcote for this mess. They blame
Yeah,
like, the
100%.
of the cabinet. Yeah.
By the way, if you would like to call in, DM me and you can voice your opinion on there. Preferably after the statement, though, we'll have you on because it's quite important.
Because
But like I was saying, right? Like I was saying, I don't think that, you know, I don't appreciate her trying to deflect this, right? I think that she should just apologize, take it on the chin, and move on. I think that by deflecting it, she's basically digging her own grave, right?
Yeah, her grave's already been dug. It's time for us to get out of here.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It does look like she's resigning. It does. It does look like she's resigning.
Get her out of here. She's probably going to be replaced by Babusha, the man who's never been to Parliament session and never shown up or ever worked in media.
Right. I think that's a real shame. I think that if she just, you know, taken it on the chin, said, you know, I apologize, you know, I just lost my cool. I think she should have just said, you know, I lost my cool. I apologize. It was, you know, stupid, you know, lapse of judgment, which, you know, wouldn't happen again. I think that she definitely would have got away with it. But by then deflecting it and resigning, I think that she's got the complete wrong approach. Yeah, I actually think it's a real shame that she is, you know, throwing such a kind of blossoming career away because, you know, a lot of people don't get the opportunity.
And I quote, she just said that the media loved working with her and that she loved working with the media. That's not true.
I think you'll find that there are certain companies.
It's that Dreamer RBX kid, the simp, who's like, oh, I love her.
But, you know, I think that the kind of, you know, resounding point here is that a lot of people don't get that opportunity that she got, which is to be a minister basically straight away, and to, you know, be able to effectively, you know, stay in the same department for a long time. Right, that there is pretty rare. You're usually either shuffled around a lot, or you're an MP for ages before you get the chance to be cabinet minister. So I think it's a real shame that she's kind of let one mistake.
Okay, so she's not resigning now.
Yeah, she's not resigning as of now. Breaking GB news that she got. She's not resigning as of this moment. Right? I personally think that's the right decision. I think she should reflect on what's happened and release a proper statement, taking it on the chin, because everyone can see that she basically designed that bill, asked for it to happen. Deflecting it onto the undercover journalist, you know, just isn't the right approach. Obviously, GB News won't go into the DCMS and start fabricating bills, right? This was purely coincidental that our civil servant was asked, right? I can 100% confirm that GB News did not attempt to fabricate a bill, right? We actually didn't hear from the journalist right up to the very last minute when this bill was basically finished, right?
Yeah.
There's no direction from us. It was purely her telling the journalist what to do, right?
Inside OSA
source, right? So I think she needs to take it on the chin, apologize, say it was a lapse in judgment, and move on. Right, you need the speaker asking to hurry up a little bit, which probably is the right call.
Well, I think we're going to be having
an experienced
from Nath Dog 208.
Oh right. Well, an experienced politician like SLP. I think he is currently the father of the house following Ian's resignation from the Commons, so he's the longest serving MP in the chamber. He knows when to speed things up. This is one of those times. Yeah.
She's just waffling on for the sake of waffling on.
Basically,
let's cut the rubbish. She should resign. Get out of here.
I mean, personally, I disagree with you. I think that she just needs to accept what's happened. I think if I was Dean, I'd move her to Minister of State. Right? I'd say get someone experienced in, as Secretary of State,
Yeah.
has preferably experienced either media or sport, right? Which she isn't. And well, okay, I don't know what's going on there, but and get them to mentor her a bit because she's basically been thrown in the deep end and it's not
Well, she's
working
been in
out
that deep end
evidently.
for 5 months and she hasn't.
Yes,
done
that
anything,
is
so
true. That is true, and she hasn't started to swim yet. But I think
it's
realistically,
time to let her drown.
I think if we look at the other leads that we received,
Yeah.
I think that it was clear that Dean has kind of been the controlling, oversight for the DCMS. He's been
for
kind
most
of,
departments,
the
actually,
big
it's-
brother watching in on his cameras and calling Lillian for interviews on the chair. So I think that,
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it the deep end because I think she's basically been told what to do up to this point.
Yeah. I
And
agree.
as shown, Dean wasn't replying for whatever reason. Yesterday, today, whenever it was. He probably has good personal reason for that. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying that then she, was left to her own devices, and it's turned out like this.
Okay. Right. We're now going to go to a interview with Big Philip Neame. I think it's Philip Neame. I hope it's Philip Neame.
Yeah,
He's
it
going to
is.
be proposing legislation about the Ofcom next week.
Hello.
Hello. Tell us about your legislation, which you're going to be proposing.
It's actually being proposed this weekend. I've uploaded
Did
it.
she resign or not? Oh, sorry. Did she? Okay, okay. Breaking GB news. She didn't resign.
So I've had it uploaded for this weekend. It's going to be ran tomorrow. And from an outsider, my job necessarily isn't in the media. As you may know, I run the ambulance service. It doesn't necessarily relate to the media. But sometimes I can't help but feel I'm interested in looking into it, which obviously I do. And to me,
what's in the bill? What's that actually doing?
in terms of this bill, I've found the most recent problem with Ofcom was that the standings produced didn't really reflect, one, the quality of the media companies, and two, and most specifically, the activity.
Yeah.
Which is a big issue, because at the end of the day, media should be consistent, accurate, and frequent. You shouldn't have to wait days to hear about stuff. It should be instant. And when we've got dozens and dozens of media companies registered that aren't actually serving a purpose, it's not worth anyone's time. And certainly isn't worth Ofcom's time.
So, what's your bill going to be doing? Just rating people on activity instead of quality?
So, first of all, the bill itself will seek to further impartiality, because at the end of the day, we all know a lot of media companies do have tie-ins to different government ministers, different politicians.
So how's it going to work?
A lot of them will have political affiliations, and the way this works is Ofcom will, if this passes, be required to state any existing political affiliations in anyone in an executive team within an outlet.
And how would they decide that? So would you say me and Andrew are politically affiliated? What would you say we are?
So, in terms of political affiliation, an ideal political affiliation would be being in a party's Discord.
Okay.
But an active affiliation would be one where you're in a role where you're campaigning, or where you're in an executive role, or where you're a Commons member. There's a lot of ways you can be active in a party. And
Phil, could I just prod that a little bit, right?
Go on.
Because from what you said about being in a Discord, right, and this is solely on that. It's not on the bill itself, right? Media companies can just get a media role, right?
Yeah.
So how would you stop them from just getting around it by just saying, "Can you give me the media role?" and actually supporting the party being in that Discord?
It's not a case of necessarily supporting the party. By actively being involved in a party, I'm more meaning.
For example, if we would say I
So
love
being a
the
member,
Labour Party.
you say?
No, not necessarily being a member. Being a member is more just supporting it. If you're actively going out and campaigning in favour of it, that would be a political affiliation. Because at the end of the day, that's active. You're showing your beliefs actively. People aren't necessarily going to notice.
How do you decide that? So would you go on to like a show like this, and would you say, if we said so and so was bad in government, would you say we're affiliated to the opposition, or how would that work?
No, not necessarily. So obviously, as you've said, there's the media role within most political parties. I obviously don't know. I'm not allowed in them.
Okay.
I'm sure you can understand why. Gold Command and that. But a wide issue is that government, opposition, everyone a lot of people are tied into these news companies, and while these news companies might produce impartial media, it's always good for the public to know who their sources are, who their lead are, because at the end of the day, it could seem that like they're impartial, but they could have a slight lean to one party, and it's being sure that people know of this and they're not left in the dark about it. Because at the end of the day, media influences everyone. A lot of people believe what they read.
What they see on the Sammy show, which is a 100% fact-based show. There's no lies here.
Oh, we have the leader of the opposition.
Oh, safe chat about to do something.
About to speak.
Thank you very much for coming on, Philip. Interesting to hear about your bill. Hopefully
No
it
worries.
does
Thank
something
you for having
in
me.
Parliament. It's been great. If you've got any more interesting things, do let us know. Other than that, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Removed from the group.
Beautiful.
Look at that, smooth.
Well, I believe this is I'm Not Safe Chatter's first appearance
Yep.
in the Commons because he was unavailable. I believe he's on holiday during the opening of Parliament. Yeah. So Bohor's took over.
Bohor's took over. Oh yeah,
and he's
the guy sent me a 5-page paragraph.
I mean, in fairness, right? You did spread some misinformation about him.
I was simply stating what was on the UN ban.
Alright, well, the UN ban turned out to be false.
He's still banned from the UN, and so he's unbanned from the UN. I stand by what.
Yeah, but it wasn't for exploiting. Someone asked him to help him, help them set up a nation, right? One of his mates.
Yeah.
They were going and setting up this nation, then it turned out he stole a map or something like that. And he basically got banned as part of his ban, but in reality he didn't really do anything. Right. Here we have the Prime Minister for the first time.
He's about to do Honesty 101.
Honesty 101.
He quite literally went out this morning. He had McDonald's, probably obese.
Very characteristic of him. As we know.
That's a bad TV show.
Right. Sammy, let's do some odds here. Do you think that he is going to mention drinking in his
almost certainly? He's that kind of guy. He's like a
He's that kind of guy. I think what a lot of people have noticed lately is that drinking has become a bit of a personality trait after an inside Labour joke.
Yeah. And I'm going to be pretty blunt here, Mr. Speaker. 5 shots of tequila.
Oh my god.
Oh my life.
That right there is an ambulance solutions. That right there is a certified ambulance solutions.
Okay.
You cannot say that.
He said that he wanted to, and I quote here, it's interesting here, Sidney Ambassador's watching, he wanted to neck himself faster.
Right.
We do not support that at all. Don't ever think that.
Right, let's see if Dinar Heathcote tries to deflect this onto the civil service.
Yeah.
Or if he takes it on the chin and admits that from what we have seen...
He apparently has no idea what happened today at all. He doesn't know what happened.
I mean, from what we've seen so far today...
He must know something.
He has... No. From putting the pieces of the jigsaw together, right? What we have seen so far, and this kind of ties in with his speech right here. Dean has been an overarching force in the DCMS. He's basically been running it for Lily, right?
The strings.
And he went out today for whatever reason.
So Lily was running it for one day.
And
it all went wrong.
Yeah, he was out, which is why we see he's not replying on the leaks, right? And Lily ran it for a day. It started with the Ofcom Media Meister thing. No, it started with the Media Meister shambles, right, with like Red Media, and it ended with her then, designing this bill, basically, right. And what the Prime Minister is confirming now is that he is going to be lots of words are going to be exchanged.
There's going to be some angry words.
Capitalize the H in what the hell, because he is serious. Right. This is not characteristic of Dean, who's usually a very upbeat, happy person, likable person.
He's a happy Roblox man, but now he is not a happy Roblox man.
You can see from this speech that Dean has indeed become quite upset at what has unfolded today. And that is another reason why I don't think any direct blame should be, landed on Dean's shoulders.
Yeah.
I don't think he was responsible for any of this, but I think that indirectly, if the leaks kind of, if what we've seen today appears, as it is, right?
Yeah.
Is as it appears rather. I think that he needs to step back from the DCMS. Either he chucks Lily into the deep end, right? Yeah. Which would mean probably a few weeks of, rocky sailing, right, for the DCMS. Not very smooth sailing, right? Or he demotes her to minister and gets someone experienced in, right? But he needs to take a step back. He's a prime minister now. He can't be, he's not the DCMS secretary anymore. He needs to step away, right? So I personally think that, either one of those two outcomes would fix the situation, right? But they both involve him taking a step back.
Licenses, which are interesting because he created a problem and then he created the solution for it for no reason at all. He created the problem of needing a streaming license to stream in like the new streams channel.
I think that in theory
that didn't need to be a thing. You should be able to do that if you've got the media perms.
I think that the issue with the streaming licenses is that we're completely unprepared with the streaming licenses. They released it in theory, right? Fair enough. Streaming licenses sounds like a good thing. Has the potential to do something good.
In practice, absolutely nothing.
In practice, they didn't actually have anything to use it for. So they released it unprepared, and they basically been playing catch up, trying to make it do things.
They begged Connor Novak to make that channel for them. Connor then made that channel because it's a sim for Dean.
Yeah.
And then
they've been playing catch up, and they've been trying to create things to do as it exists. And what that basically ends up doing is it looks like they're trying to shove it down people's throats.
Exactly. For no reason, just to waste time.
So as we actually see here, coincidentally, we have Dean defending streaming licenses.
He's a big fan of the streaming licenses.
So that Ultimate Universe, I'm not sure what he's talking about here. Definitely want to tune into.
Oh no, we really need to.
I think
still got our inside sources in
I think someone from Ambulance Solutions need to be sent around to
to Dean's house. Yeah,
it is not looking very pretty. Good. Especially this kind of terminology. I'm getting a little bit concerned.
He seems a bit
about the effects of Roblox politics.
Oh no.
On this guy. Yeah.
Alright, Tim, what were you wanting to do?
Just to respond to Desi is Joe in the live chat. I'm so glad that you're enjoying the show so much that you've stayed since we've started streaming Parliament. You're clearly having a great time.
It's very well.
Lots of commentary from you. If you'd like to call in, do just drop me a DM. I'm sure we'd love to have Desi as Joe on the program so he can voice his opinion, because he seems very involved. He's basically been talking like in a big block of text.
I've got no idea. Dean just called someone a snake.
Oh my god!
I don't know who he called a snake.
I really hope that he wasn't someone from the Conservative bench.
Yeah, I really hope it
there's going to be an issue.
I'm getting an angry DM from Albert Wesley later on.
Right. Speaking of the Conservatives, it appears that Margaret Armonti has made an appearance, which is uncharacteristic.
We should do a who's who of the people.
Right. It appears that the Unionist Party have been extremely ruly. Do just drop me. If I'm not mistaken, they've just called Mason a carrot cake, which, as we know, Mason's a lovely guy, involved in the Media Super League with his house newspaper from the Conservative benches.
When was the last time he released a thing on his newspaper company?
Oh, I can't tell you.
Apparently, Dean is crying in real life currently. Oh,
Speaker, I'm crying of joy. Right.
Excellent.
Hold off Ambulance Solutions. Right.
We don't need
we don't need Ambulance Solutions. The RP mental health van coming round. We good.
We're gonna have like little asterisks next to his performs therapy.
Yeah, Ambulance Solutions is not missed in the community. If you couldn't tell.
I wonder if Nine Kim wants to come on the show.
Oh, it's on the topic of the Sarawak crisis.
Oh yeah. Wait, let's have a look. Okay.
So, Sam, you're involved in BAF quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm
I
involved.
don't believe that the UK is kind of is it gearing towards war, or are they there simply in a supporting role?
I think it depends on the in the coming days what happens. I think there's definitely the preparations have been made in certain groups for possible war if needed. So teams have been assembled. But other than that, I think it's possible that this could happen. Also, Dean called Sequatic a snake. If you're interested, that's just been told to us by Jeb. Something the guy came on the show earlier this week. Yeah, so hopefully these. Wow. You know, I think we should just declare war on Sarawak because I think it'd be good. It would give lots of people more medals, which I think would be a good thing. We need to get more medals going for war.
Okay.
With good KD.
More medals, especially special medal for Tim Ruak. Can we talk about that for a second? Right, this man, right, Tim Ruak, right. He went with Sean Ruak, who is now banned from the UK for good reasons. So we're not going to talk about.
Get him out of here.
Right, but Tim Ruak revitalized. Well, I say revitalized, created streaming in the UK.
Yeah,
right, we wouldn't be here if it was Tim Ruak behind the streams. ITV wouldn't be streaming. OBC wouldn't be streaming Good Morning Britain every morning, talking about the weather and Taliban and COVID. Right, you wouldn't have basically anyone streaming if it wasn't for Tim Ruak. Right, Tim Ruak sat down 4 or 5 years ago and created streaming with Conor Novak, right, to create the election night that you all know and love. And
which didn't happen this time for some reason.
Exactly, didn't happen.
Because it was dead.
This time. It happened this time, but that guy, right, had sat through at least 60 hours.
We've had a speculation from Jeb. Jeb has said, and I quote, that he thinks Sequatic was the undercover journalist who appeared on the GB News show today.
That right there is groundbreaking. That is groundbreaking.
Sequatic was not the man who was the undercover GB News operative.
Sequatic. Yeah, we can confirm that it was indeed not Sequatic, right? Because Sequatic is not the man with the plan, right? As you saw from his time as Justice Secretary, there wasn't really a plan. Right? So he's not capable, right, of creating a plan, of creating a plan to infiltrate the DCMS, right? No offense, Sequatic, that was for all intent and purposes a joke.
Oh no, Jib's mad.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Right. Well, we're just gonna skim over that.
Okay, it's fine.
Back to Tim, right? Back to Tim, yeah.
Yeah,
that man is sat through at least 60 hours. At least 60 hours of just listening.
To Conor Novak.
Pretty much, yeah. He just sat through 60 hours of listening to
more than anything else.
And, you know, to sit through that amount of time and just stream, right?
Yeah.
Deserves a medal, right? I have nothing against all the people who've won media, you know, honours in the past. I'm sure that Safe Chat won't mind me saying this, right? He got an MBE for Forces News after about, you know, 2-3 months of posting BF honours. Right, he did very good stuff, but that is nowhere near, you know, in comparison to Tim, who's for 4 or 5 years streamed everything in the screen, right, including the election night. Done all the graphics, everything.
All the other shows, the original.
Safe Chat is deserving of an MBE, right? Tim Ruak is deserving of becoming Tim Wellesley.
KP.
All right, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, get that man an honor. He has 0 shiny medals, right?
Give him a shiny medal.
He needs an honor, right? He needs a shiny medal.
Especially because we get special picks if he gets.
Exactly.
If he gets a Lego medal.
Exactly. Talking about the honor system, Sammy, what is your opinion on the state of the honor system?
Well, we'll have to find out after the BF honors if I like it or not. If I get something, I might like it. If I don't, it's obviously a scam and controlled by the Novak mafia or something.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I think that the honor system is outdated
It
And
has been
yeah,
changed recently. I'm sure no.
I still think
because
that it is redundant, right?
Yeah.
I think it's obsolete and that it's outdated because I think that, you know, having people, you know, who, you know, for example, Noah does the honors, right? Noah A. Collins, right?
No, it's a group of people. So I'll explain the system to you. So at
Right,
the head
right,
of
right.
it, Noah is the chair of the honours committee. Then there's Farmer
Right.
Finsan for household matters. There's what's his name, Atrophy for civil service. Then there's some GMP guy for GMP, not GMP mess or whatever it's called. Then there's Jane M. Reed for the foreign office stuff. And then there's a couple other guys also whose names escape me. But there's good there's one person from like every major community.
Is there someone from the media community?
I think that's Atrophy who represents media. And then what they do is they then get into a big VC before like
Right.
the night before the medals come out. They then
Right,
get a list
right.
of people. They then vote on the list of people. So and then if they get enough votes, they'll pass it. So for example, Tim Ruak deserves one for being the best producer in the world. He gets.
I don't see how Atro of all people, right? Because I would trust Atro
to
give Tim a medal, right? Are you sure that everyone in the honors community, committee or whatever, right? I'm not sure that you know Atro has as big a voice as you're making out because Tim would definitely have an honor by now.
Yeah, no, yeah, because that's what previously had happened. These changes happened about like a month ago. Because
right,
it
okay.
was run by Jeff Mulpey and his crazy gang of mates, and
Right,
they basically
right.
decided medals. And how that worked to say if they didn't like someone, they just wouldn't give them a medal. So they just give it
Yeah.
up.
I mean, fair enough. I expect to see. Oh, my god! You have just been. You have just been. GB News breaking news. GB News has been called out.
Getting a medal.
Right, Tim Ruak is
We'll
not
be
getting
ending the
a
stream
medal.
immediately because Tim Ruak is
The
not getting a medal.
stream will not restart. Right, we didn't know that we had people as high profile as Noah A. Collins
He's viewing the stream
watching
right
this
now.
stream. Right. Personally,
How exciting.
I would have thought that he would be above that in a VC with like Lords or something, talking about how funny it is that the DCMS has been called out.
Trollers. I don't think that really happens anymore.
Exactly.
I saw moves like social club discords, and I don't think Noah is part of most of those social club discords because there's quite a few.
Right.
Where
well, Noah, if you're listening to this,
are you part of the Alcoholics Anonymous social club discord, the one which controls BAF and has like all of SBA in it?
Listen, yeah.
If you're not,
very angry,
I recommend
Noah.
getting an invite into it at some point.
Noah, yeah, this is your one and only warning to give Tim Ruak an honor, all right? Or hands are going to be thrown.
There's
all
gonna
right?
be trouble.
There's going to be trouble. Me and the ambulance solution boys are going to come around, around your house and bundle you into the ambulance solutions van, and you're going to be taken to God knows where. So yeah, this is your one and only warning before GB News come round and put an undercover journalist into the BAF.
No, Acons is currently messaging me on Discord. Status 0.
Status 0. Right. If you didn't know, GB News were banned from filming outside the Westbridge Reserve Centre because the Sammy show has such an impact now that we
caused
a riot. A small riot which ended up in a bombing.
Yeah.
But,
the leader of the opposition, on Safe Chat, a great guy, set off 5 high explosives on protesters.
The Unionist Party targeted a group of Argentine nationals who were asking for the Falkland Islands to be reunited.
Not true.
Well, I say reunited, united with Argentina.
Wait, Safe Chat is hacking into the GB News Discord. I believe he's about to make a statement.
That is 100% not true. There is absolutely no evidence of any type of illegal activity from anybody in the
Thank you very much. I'm not Safe Chatter. We really appreciate your opinion.
Exploit that. The DCMS used to DDoS earlier.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I'm not Safe Chatter. That was a really insightful statement.
Okay. We do have a statement though from Noah A. Collins, and I quote:
"Do we?
Social groups are for those who are not confident in their own standing as their own person. I'm not in any, and I make a point to not be involved. Below me it is."
I don't know what he's on about. I've got to be real with you.
He's saying that they're below him.
Can you decipher that a little bit? What does he mean by social groups?
So basically, Noah's quite posh. So you have to.
Right.
needs to go down the chain. So you need to go to a middle class person to be able to know what
Right. Okay, I'm putting myself in a middle class mentality.
Okay, so you need to think, I shop at Waitrose, and then
Uh-huh.
look at it and go,
Buy a pack of Percy Pigs.
social groups are things like the groups which people's friendship groups. So we could be described as a social group. The
GBU social club.
Yeah, and then what he's saying is, it's those groups of the people who are not confident in their own standing, so they don't think that they.
What does he think that because I hang out with Sammy from the Sammy Show live every
You're
day?
not confident in yourself.
I'm not confident in myself.
I think I'm butchering this. He's sending me a message now. I don't know. Okay, he's saying that
We're not going the right way to getting Tim Rock and Honor, I have to be honest with you.
Talking of which, I did actually get a Tesco club card the other day.
Right, breaking news. You heard it here first. Noah A. Collins is a Tory. And we have some more breaking news.
Shops at Marks and Spencer's.
You heard it here first. Electoral Commissioner. Cheers, Rafa. Shops at Marks and Spencer's.
Wow. Big news.
He stocks up on Percy Pigs before he does an election to get him through. Right.
Okay.
If he'd like to call in, he's perfectly free to do so. Unfortunately, he appears to be on.
And I quote, a hostile power by a Labour MP. He just said, and I quote, what will the government be doing to stop things being leaked to hostile powers?
Oh.
GB
Oh my! Wait a minute! Wait! The Labour you're telling me a Labour MP has called the Free Press
hostile.
GB. It's called the Free Press hostile to the government.
Yeah.
Now, I actually want to have a chat about this, right? I think that the media has been too lenient on the government in the past. And I'm not just talking about the Labour government. I'm talking about every government, because the scrutiny is kept in the Westminster bubble, as you're seeing now, right? It's uncharacteristically full Parliament today, right? Full of spectators, and the fact that we have 30 people watching this stream is
insane.
Pretty incredible. No one wants to watch Parliament because as you're seeing live, it's boring, right? So, us doing the Sammy show, for example, right, means that scrutiny is taken forward to the people. So, for the government to suddenly be, shaking in their boots at this thought of us showing everyone, scrutiny of the government is bad practice.
Okay. So, I've got another statement from Noah. Okay. Tim, this is a message directly for you. He speaks to you. Tell Tim, I understand publicly the changes of honours may not be so clear. Although, I'd hope the two this already out would have shown otherwise, but behind the scenes, the honours system is more refined and just. Do you approve of this? Do you think this is great? Are you happy with this message? Do you think you'll be getting your shiny medal soon, Tim? Oh, Tim's typing in the chat. Let's have a look.
Well, I actually have a message for Noah.
Okay. Can you please send his Lego medal by I can't speak. It's too late. No, can you send his Lego honor by DHL? Because apparently they're the only ones who know where his house is. Because he lives in, I don't know, somewhere.
I have a message for Noah on behalf of GB News. Let me see if I can.
Big Duck.
You say big. What?
Big Duck.
It's that.
Big Duck.
Have you got a soundboard installed?
I do indeed have a sound. Do you want me to send another message to Mr. Collins?
Please.
I won't do anything sus. I'm not Tim. Right. Oh, let me. Oh, here we go. Right, Noah. This is GB News's official message to you.
It's not like a clip of plane review, is it?
El Madrid eliminado y Hazard partiéndose la caja.
What is this? Yeah, that's not working very well. It sounds like some sort of like ISIS video, when it's
2
actually
años
just some football meme.
tomándole el pelo al madridismo. 2 años. Pasado de kilos. Sin irse de nadie. Estaba leyendo hace un momento y muchos decíais, otro Bale de la vida.
That's enough of that.
Yeah, that was dragging on a bit.
We have some breaking news from
I'm
Parliament.
invading the House of Commons. Screw it. Let's go. Poggers.
We have some breaking news from Parliament.
We've
Our commentator Sammy has managed to break into Parliament.
I've escaped.
And that comes after Speaker Mr. SLP called for order on the government front benches. We have a reaction, right, to the government's I say the government Dean's opening speech from the GB News studio. We have a live reaction.
Wait, apparently there's been a massive bro moment from what we've just done, according to Pokezilla 369.
Right. Well, here is the live reaction from the GB News studios in Westbridge, following the Prime Minister's statement.
Oh wait, why did I fall out?
Right, well that did not work.
Okay, I need to get
I'm
TP.
just gonna turn this off now.
Who can TP me? Wait, no. If you're still watching, can you TP me, please?
I feel like this commentary is going downhill pretty fast.
It is, yeah. It's going quite rapidly downhill.
It's going downhill.
This is what happens when.
This is what happens when Parliament is characteristically boring.
Dead, yeah. I think this. Blah, 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 blah.
Right. So here we have the leader of the opposition. I'm not safe chatter once again.
TP me, please.
Asked
these questions. I think that he gets to ask.
Oh, thank you, Noah.
I think it's 3 questions. Oh no, that's Minister's question.
Excellent.
Wait, I think it's either 3 or 4 or 5 questions. I don't know how many questions.
Okay, Tim, can we just I think we're gonna end in a few minutes, but before that, can we get a close up of my shirt, please? This is a publicly Sammy Show approved message about "Hello, I'm Edward." If you could please go around the full shirt so that Edward can see all the things, because apparently he is quite fat. Probably not as fat as Luke, but quite fat.
Just for everyone watching, right? If you'd like to call in and voice your opinions on what has unfolded today, please DM me, Andre Hodge. You can see me in the streaming channel,
DM me.
Discord, or DM Sammy, and we'll just get you in the group chat.
Wait, I wonder, Noah, would you like to say your Honours Committee statement in VC right now on the Sammy Show? Where you told me about how you made it more fair the other day. This could be the perfect way to get it out and tell everyone. It's like a stream delay of like 30 minutes, so we need to wait for him to actually reply.
Oh, this is also a really good opportunity to say GB News is hiring journalists to do VC reports from wherever on breaking news as it unfolds.
Breaking news.
So if you're willing to VC and do what we're doing basically.
Yeah. Which is a bit dead and boring quite a lot of the time, but when we're actually making episodes, it's quite fun. So
another thing which has popped up, everyone's eagerly awaiting the Milner files.
Oh
right?
yes, yeah, that's coming soon.
I can confirm that if you spam Cheers Raffers DMs, he will be, because he is the instrumental producer in that. If you spam his DMs, he will get the job done faster.
Yeah,
so
60%
it will make a difference. Yeah, it will make a difference if you spam Cheers Raffers DMs asking him to hurry up with the
Noah's
files.
just responded to my message which means that either there's a massive delay and he hasn't heard me properly explain it, or
Oh, here we go. Actually,
would you
Foreign
like
Sec-
to
the Shadow
explain
Foreign Secretary,
your new
just to
and improved
just to keep
honor
everyone
system
up to date with what's going on in Parliament. Shadow Foreign
on the
Secretary
Sammy show?
is currently contradicting the foreign minister,
Is he? Or what's he saying?
the government foreign minister, when he came on our show, because he said that, you know, if they're saying that there's been meetings with Malaysia, why has there been no, you know, kind of pictures or clarification that's actually happened?
Okay.
He's claiming that the government have basically not had any proper meetings yet with Malaysia.
Wait. Please make sure you spam Steve R. Bruce's DMs. Cheers, Rafa.
Cheers, Rafa. Cheers, Rafa. That's
Tell them all about that you want to see them on the files, because they are amazing. I've seen a work in progress copy of it, and my mind was blown from the inside sources.
Well, the Prime Minister is now confirming, or claiming rather, lots of talks happened with Malaysia. It does beg the question.
The meetings that had BF and not him doing it.
Well, that's what the Shadow Foreign Secretary just said. He just said that the government either hasn't happened, or it's not meaningfully happened because the government hasn't documented it.
Yeah.
And Dean is now saying, actually, there have been meetings, and that the chief of he's just now said that the chief of the defense staff.
He's admitting it wasn't him.
Well, he just said for even longer than I have.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he's spoken to them. We're not sure to what extent. I'm sure we can get our foreign affairs analyst rather. In. Hold on, let me just DM our foreign affairs analyst.
Okay. Wait, that's not Bohorse, is it?
Oh, we have Barry Ruark wants to voice his opinion.
Yes. Let's get him on him right now.
Good friend, Mr. Ruark, would like to voice his opinion. I've just added him to the group chat, and he can have a.
Breaking news! Bohorse has.
Yeah, we know that. That's old news. Old news. Right, hello, Barry. Oh, and he's muted himself.
Barry Ruark. Again, so.
Right, Barry, I think there's currently some issues with your audio because we can't hear you, unfortunately.
Okay, don't pull this out. Barry, are you here?
This is GB News to Barry Ruark.
Cable, Sam. Okay, there's not this one.
Just for clarification, that is not Barry speaking. That is Sam's brother.
My
Ben.
brother is currently.
You may recognise him as the person who was talking about beatings on our last episode.
I'm removing the server.
Please don't remove your illegal child porn server.
I'll do it, Sam.
Oh no.
I've got to move it up to Liverpool.
Could do it if you think people would get. No Acons has agreed to come on the Sammy show.
Oh, this is groundbreaking. Whilst Barry Ruark fixes his audio, right?
They would care.
Hello, everyone.
Oh,
he's
Barry.
Okay.
Hello, Sammy boy. How are you?
I'm great.
This is groundbreaking stuff. I believe this is your first appearance for a number of months. Public
think
appearance,
it is, mate. Think it is, yeah.
Just for those of you who don't know, Barry is quite an instrumental figure in the UK. He has, well, I mean, you can list actually what you've done in the past.
Like everything.
Positions.
I mean, it'd probably take me 6 hours to list. I've pretty much done everything, like.
Alright, well, maybe you can offer some insight on what's happened today in politics.
With the DCMS, yeah?
Yeah.
Bad start to Dean's government, basically.
Right, short and sweet. I like it. So, what are your kind of opinions so far on this term? How do you think the opposition's performing? How do you think the government's performing?
Well, sorry, my position on this government, yeah?
Yeah. On basically this term so far. So the opposition, the government. How do you think they're all performing?
Well, the term really hasn't started properly. We haven't seen much from them yet.
Well, I mean, it's been pretty jam-packed, if you ask me. In fact, to have 4 consecutive Sammy shows, one each day, just to cover the groundbreaking news that's coming in.
I have been listening to GB News, but to be honest with you, what we've seen so far, I think generally is negative from Dean and his cabinet, right? But I mean, there's still many weeks ahead, and I think they can change that definitely.
Would you say
Being
the
assassinated.
fault lies because you obviously haven't, quite a stance as damning of the government as you stated. But you said Dean and his cabinet. Who do you think is to blame for the rocky start? Do you think it's Dean or his cabinet?
Collective responsibility, everyone. There's not the whole point of collective responsibility, right? Is that you can't pick someone out from the other. And so far, I think they haven't really stuck to collective responsibility. So we're seeing faults with individual cabinet members and so forth. So in reality, I don't really know if they see what they're doing here. To be honest.
Actually, a really interesting point that you bring up because I hadn't considered that. Because earlier today, for example, with the kind of issues that happened with the DCMS, the Home Secretary, is accredited that I think he is for his work so far on the term, was talking in the DCMS Discord, basically saying stuff like, "Oh, I'm glad I'm not in the DCMS. I'm glad I'm in the Home Office." Do you think that kind of shows a dividing cabinet, shows backing away from collective responsibility?
I don't know. I think there's a sort of level of, friendly internal competitiveness because it's competitiveness between departments that will move the government forward a little bit. But on the whole, we shouldn't really be seeing public statements like that. I do agree.
Okay. Right, I need to wait for Noah to accept my friend request and I can add him.
Alright, great.
I think that's my views. I'm in my motor, mate. I've just pulled over, so I need to go now.
Okay, well, you're
no
like
worries,
a lay-by on
Barry.
the M5 or something.
Sorry?
You're a lay-by in his van.
Are you in a lay-by on your phone?
No, I'm actually in a petrol station, but I'm not near the pump, so
What petrol
I'm not.
station is it?
What? I'm not going to give that's OSA information.
No, I mean like what brand? BP? Is it Tesco?
Shell?
Esso? Shell?
All I can say it's a BP, right? And the petrol is one.
So we can confirm that Barry Ruark is definitely on a motorway.
Just to clarify to health and safety freaks, I'm not actually at the pumps. I'm at the sort of food bit where you pull in. And
You heard it here first.
food do you
Barry
buy?
Ruark is at the food bit. Well, Barry, I have to ask you: do they cover doing an interview on the phone whilst getting back from a job
On
in
the
level
Sammy
1
show.
bricklaying and guilds, city and guilds? Sorry, bricklaying qualifications.
Sorry, mate, didn't hear you.
Do they cover giving an interview on the Sammy show whilst returning from a job on level 1 city and guilds bricklaying?
Knowing the importance of GB News, it's the first thing you learn.
Yeah, brilliant.
Perfect. You heard it here first. Barry Ruark. Thank you. Thank you for that
Barry.
exclusive
It's been
interview.
great having
Cheers,
you on.
mate. Thank you.
Good luck with your drive home. Don't crash.
Yeah, that'll be a shame.
That'll be alright. Yeah.
Oh, I think I just FaceTimed him or something. Oops.
Oh,
my life. I just invited you to something.
Alright, bye.
Bye.
Alright, bye, Barry.
Wow, that was so much fun having Barry.
Right, I'm gonna ask if our foreign affairs analyst rather can come on to talk about the Malaysia situation while you sort out.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still waiting for him to accept it. He said one mo.
Oh, here we go. Actually, I've not really been paying attention, but this is the first time I've seen a backbencher.
Oh wait, he's accepted it. He's here. He's ready. Okay. No.
Perfect.
Add. Let's go. I don't add Gunner.
I'm gonna preemptively add our foreign affairs and analyst as well. And it can be a race. Whoever joins the call first gets the first interview.
Come on first. Okay.
Right, Noah gets it first. Look at that.
So Noah, would you like to explain to people your new and improved honour system?
Right, so hello chaps, how are you all?
Great.
I won't speak for too long. I'll just be brief on the topic of honour to explain a bit more what you briefly covered while you were talking before. So over the last month and a bit, the honour system has seen some great change to ensure a better system. We've brought in more individuals, raising the total of members in the committee and ensuring that those individuals can speak for as much of the community as possible. We've introduced the new system of having 3 large lists of the summer. which target different job areas of the community, and the use of those lists allows us to consider a wider range of people rather than just doing, one big one for the summer and trying to cram as many names on as possible. Doing them individually allows more care, time, and focus to be taken, and allows the list to be more tailored towards that service, not skipping out on people not being rewarded.
Can I ask, what is the highest honor that you can get for, like, I don't know, what would media? What is the highest honor you could possibly be given for media?
There is a
literal highest.
Well, media would come under, the civil sector.
Okay, so the civil, fine. What is the highest civil honor you can receive?
Well, it all depends on the job that's been done.
Media.
What about, so for Tim Ruak, what would be the best medal?
For example, what is the highest honor he could possibly receive for media?
As of the current moment.
As of the current moment, what is the highest possible honor you can receive for media?
Again, it would depend.
You are, let me just clarify this, in charge of the honor system, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're asking you now as GB News, right, to name an honor. All right, what is the highest honor you can get in media?
And I'm just going to briefly finish up the statement I was on. So since being in the committee, which has been, well over a year now, longer, I've ensured and watched over a good amount of new medals being introduced to the system. Two of the most recent ones were the King's Fire and the King's Ambulance medal, and the introduction of new medals that I've ensured that's been happening lately. It ensures we have a better variety of services and a larger selection, and it just means rather than them being very restricted, they can only earn like 2 or 3. They've now got much more that we can consider them for to change up the variety rather than just having everyone with identical medal sets over time. And it will take some time probably for the public to fully understand and see the changes. But I can give a word and I assure people the system is more fair, it's more just, and it is equal, and it is the best system we've had for a long time.
Brilliant.
Okay, so the system is more fair, right?
Indeed it is, yeah.
Does that mean that in the upcoming honours, right, will Tim Ruak be receiving an honour for media?
Well, on the schedule, the next current list that we're sorting is going to be the military. So
it's BF, isn't it? So
yeah. So we started off the summer doing the civil service list, and then we went on to the emergency services, and then finally we'll be doing the military. And towards the end, once everything's all done and sorted, we'll be having a meeting going over individuals that were perhaps missed originally, and
such as Tim Ruak.
And if we consider that certain individuals were missed off previous lists, then honours can be just given out privately directly to them.
Do you think that Tim Ruak will be compensated for almost 5 years without a media honour? With a good honour?
Have you even been active in those 5 years?
He has been active in those 5 years. He streamed every single election night. That may I remind you, is cumulative 60 hours plus of listening to Conor Novak's voice.
Right, well, yeah. Again, with the change of the honours committee, every individual in the committee has a say, so it's not more. It's no longer a case of someone says, right, we're giving this person this. It's more of a discussion. What do we give this person?
Okay.
I'm not going to answer that because again, that is the way the old.
It's highly likely.
So it is highly likely that Tim Ruak will be recognised for his hard work.
Okay. Oh, we've got a question from a member of the public for you. Will the recommendation form be coming back, or will that be gone now?
Okay, yeah, the recommendation form. The recommendation form can be considered, but often or not, a lot of the names that were put through the recommendation form were put forward by their superiors anyway, and generally that form didn't actually do anything brilliant. From a lot of people to a bit of a stronger now.
I think that a question on everyone's lips is: will Margaret Armonti's Gmail account be blacklisted from the recommendation form?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, okay. But basically, to summarise, it's more fair. You're not going to be biased towards people.
No, again, yeah, there's multiple people there.
Yeah.
Again,
sounds like good changes in the honor system.
Yeah, so lots of new people who didn't have a say before, who are more fair, and won't just blackball people because they don't like them. Okay. Anything else?
Breaking. back to our topic of the DCMS, there seems to be a little scuffle in the Commons right now between the leader of the Daily Mail and the Prime Minister.
Coming. Okay.
That is. It is looking like he's just shut down the leader of the Daily Mail, which is quite groundbreaking, actually. Because as we know, the Daily Mail was part of a controversy in which the DCMS secretary, knowingly or unknowingly, was employed or was, labeled by the Daily Mail as employed by them. And then she retweeted posts by the Daily Mail on the DCMS Twitter account, which in effect announced them because it was on all the tweet slips, right, leading to DCMS and the GovUK server and the DCMS server.
Yeah.
So it appears there's a little scuffle between the Prime Minister and the leader of the Daily Mail and the Commons, but that comes just in time for our foreign affairs analyst, Mr. Henry Cathcart, who's just joined the VC, and he will give us a rundown of his thoughts on the Malaysia Sarawak situation.
Hello. Can you hear me all right?
Can, yeah.
All right, so basically this conflict with Malaysia and Sarawak is inevitable, and it really isn't going to change. Upon joining the UN,
so war is inevitable.
I mean,
Sarawak.
War with Sarawak obviously would be inevitable. The only question is what role the United Kingdom will play in this war, whether we'll leave Malaysia to lead the efforts in their coalition with Korea, and I believe that's it. But, I mean, ideally, we won't play too much of a role in this war as we try to steer towards international cooperation. But, I mean, we'll see. Regardless, Sarawak will probably be fucking destroyed, honestly.
Yeah,
so just to clarify, you think it is inevitable for the United Kingdom to go to war?
I mean, in defense of a Commonwealth ally, there's no way we're not going to war. It's going to happen.
Okay. Do you think that the right actions have been taken by the government in the build-up to this conflict?
I mean, I don't really think it's the government per se. I think it's more so the military, which every right to them. That's their decision, pretty much. Military autonomy. I think the FCO should probably take a more public approach to it, I guess, and just try to...
What do you think about Ambassador Sheikh over recent days?
I mean, Sheikh is fine. He's been nice to me. I mean, I don't really feel comfortable saying anything on live, but I mean, he was a nice guy to me recently. But he's a good ambassador.
I mean, back to government. What do you think about the fact that they met with Lithuania? Obviously, we know that there are a lot of former, big dogs in the FCO who had commented on that. I was just wondering what your kind of personal thoughts were on the fact that the government met with Lithuania.
Was this the Lithuania that's in, Sparky's UN?
I believe so, yeah.
I mean, honestly, the goal should just be meeting with nations in Rusty's UN, honestly. We joined Rusty's UN for a reason. If we wanted to meet with Sparky's nations, we could just remain out of the UN or just do nothing. We really joined this United Nations for the purpose of meeting with nations in it, not random nations. And it just kind of shows kind of our intentions, really. If we're still meeting with nations from Sparky's, it really just shows a divide in the community, really, because that's what Sparky's represents to people in Rusty's UN, just a divide in the international community on Roblox.
And as we saw, I think it's either just before or just after Lithuania, you had a meeting with, the FCO had a meeting with Bangladesh, not you, sorry, I meant it was in the government. They had a meeting with Bangladesh. I want to ask you what your opinion on the location of the picture during meeting with Bangladesh, then be put on the FCO Twitter account. What were your thoughts on the location of the picture?
I mean, The picture, the quality was pretty poor. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
What
they
did
need
you
to
think
take
about the man?
Yeah, that was weird.
The portrait in the background was
Yeah, that was pretty base.
pretty sketchy. Not gonna lie. I don't know why
Who even was
Bangladesh
it?
would
Is it
make the
meant to be-
UK take a picture. I really don't know who that was. I don't know why they took a picture in front of him.
It's stupid.
Well, thank you very much for your foreign affairs analysis. It is as fruitful as always.
Brilliant. I think
Henry
we've got a week
Cathcart.
now, so he's gonna come on.
All right, perfect. Just to
UNF
interject quickly.
FC.
In the meantime, before we get Ethan UFC on, the conservative MP Mason J. Day, who is a very senior conservative MP, has just asked about streaming licenses.
Yeah.
Which is something that we haven't covered yet.
I think we have at the start, but it's been going for so long now. It's just all blurred.
Well, he said that he asked what would happen if.
Oh yeah, we're streaming without a license.
Oh yeah. Well, this ties into his question, because he has just asked what would happen. He asked earlier during a Treasury press conference what would happen if he streamed without a license, and they couldn't give him a definitive answer. And as it happens, GB News is indeed streaming Parliament without a license at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, the Chancellor just answered, and he said that. Well, it was either the Chancellor or I think it was the Chancellor.
Oh yeah, there's the Prime Minister.
He's just answered that they'll be working with the DCMS to, I don't know, figure out punishments, probably, is what I gathered from that. And just a little quick update from the Commons. The Mason J. Day, who just asked a question, who's also Deputy Speaker, will be taking over for the session.
So let's talk to UNFC.
Right.
Hello, UNFC, are you there?
Hello, I am here.
Hello.
What are you here for?
Sorry?
Well, Ethan, you are a
I'm
Unionist MP.
For the
I am.
Unionists?
Yes.
Yeah. Could we get a zoom in? He is a person on the left.
I am
of...
the person behind. I'm not a safe. I mean, would be, but Ben's there right now. Because I'm not a safe chat.
You're
I'm
left
not.
of the
I'm
man
behind.
with the white hair, right?
I'm behind the guy with the white hair on the front bench. So
behind.
you see the leader of the
Yeah,
opposition.
yeah.
The opposition bench. I'm behind the guy with the grey hair.
What do you think about I'm Not Safe Chatter? Do you like him?
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, he obviously he's got experience. He used to be the Lib Dems leader.
Okay. What do you
He's
think about the Lib Dem leader before him?
Oh, before him. I mean, I don't know much of him, so I can't really comment.
He was a pretty irrelevant guy.
I thought he was pretty cool.
No, he was a pretty irrelevant guy. I don't know why you'd expect him to know much about that.
I don't even know who
I
that
assume
guy
it's one
is.
of you, but I cannot comment on that because I do not know who was the
Well,
Dem
we
leader.
were both Lib Dem leaders, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, he just sent that to me.
The difference is that I was the one who won the election, he was the one who lost it.
I'm not a safe chat. I'm not going to call him a retard.
Oh my god!
Oh my
that took a very sharp turn in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. You're watching GB News Parliament live.
But generally, I was going to say. Yeah, generally, I was going to say, the leader of the Unionists now, I'm not a safe chat. He's we've talked a lot. A weird story. We both went to a Watford game, and apparently I sat a few rows in front of him. Apparently,
Wait,
I don't know much about that.
So is that why you sound exactly like I'm not safe chatting?
No,
Both from Watford?
Wow.
I cannot confirm that.
Well,
I cannot confirm
I
that.
happen to think that you're the same person. Right.
I think
I have a
it's
question
it's
for you.
I'm Not Safe Chatter undercover.
I have a
go
question
ahead.
for you. Mike Powell,
Me.
who is Labour MP for Brighton, has released
that
the
our
following
seat?
statement from his parliamentary office in the Labour head office. This is coming directly from him, by the way. Right?
Right.
GB News has set off a firestorm in some conservative-leaning circles where misinformation has circulated and contributed to a stubbornly trust in the government in certain constituencies. Mike Powell will not be distracted by accusations which aren't supported by the facts. The right to free press is a cornerstone to our democracy, and the government is absolutely committed to maintaining freedom of expression. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen PSG's no, right, on Mbappe, because you know how he was trying to leave. I think it's to Real Madrid, and they declined it, and they basically said, we really want him to do whatever he wants to do, right?
Yeah.
But we're going to decline every single offer for him, right? That is basically what Mike Powell has just said in Parliament terms. Wait, what just happened? Did the Chancellor just resign? What?
I don't know.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. Right. Anyway,
think
back
so.
to Mike Powell. He has just said that GB News has set off a firestorm, right? And he said that he said in third person that Mike Powell will not be distracted by accusations that aren't supported by the facts. He's then said,
do you support Mike
the right
Powell?
to free press is a cornerstone to our democracy, and the government is actually committed to maintaining freedom of expression. Ethan UFC, unionist backbencher, in the House of Parliament, now live, right? What do you make of that groundbreaking statement?
I think it's just a bit sad of
sad.
the member of Parliament
He's been called
for
out
Brighton.
by Ethan.
I just don't see the need to go in depth and just speak waffle. Really,
Right, that is a very
I don't
strong
see what
statement.
GB News has done wrong. There's nothing that's hit the headlines that is awful. Anything to do with GB News.
Brilliant news. Brilliant news.
Right, well, that is a very bold statement.
Thank you, Ethan UFC. You've been excellent.
Yeah, I'd also
should
just
have this
like
guy
to
more
ask
often.
you. Yeah, we really should. I'd also just like to ask you, Ethan, right?
Okay.
What you have made of what's happened today in the government? Because obviously there's been a lot of talk. Personally, me and Sammy disagree on this topic. In fact, you know, there's been a lot of talk on whether Lily should resign or not, or what Dean's next course of action should do. Being, you know, an MP right in there, what do you what do you make of what's happened today?
Well, I want to say first thing I did was post a Daily Mail headline.
Okay.
Right.
I had a chat with Lily. Let me go to DMs now. I was in Lily's DMs earlier on.
Okay.
And
can you leak those DMs to us, please?
yes, of course. I firstly said I sent her the media participation bill. Why? I put a why, and I said that's not even going to pass the Commons.
Yeah.
Right.
She said, no, I know, it wasn't even made by me. And she was like, the edits literally show, and she was like, all I did was add my signature, and you know, you always do
So
things.
what you're saying is that Lily said to you, she basically deflected the bill and said that she hadn't written it, and just blamed everyone else. Is what you're saying?
She rubber stamps it though.
She goes and says also after, let me say, and I was so mad, I just wanted to pass the bill. So she's basically just said it wasn't even made by me. It was all her. She made me do it.
Of her saying that.
But she wanted to pass the bill.
Yeah, I have a screenshot. It's on the
So
Daily Mail.
what you're saying is that there is a contradiction in what she's saying.
Yes.
Exactly. What she's saying, she's completely deflected it from herself. She's completely. Let me quickly just send you this tweet. That's got all the screenshots in it of the DMs with me, and it's got her DMs in there. Yeah, what she's said is she's completely deflected deflected all the blame onto the person that obviously leaks the DMs to GB News. She's deflected it onto her.
Do you think, I mean, the main question on everyone's lips, should she have resigned today or not?
This is a mixed controversy. I believe that some things, I feel like that she should have resigned, but then she shouldn't have resigned. I'm one of them people in the middle. There's many reasons for her to resign, but there's many reasons for her not to resign.
I share that view. I mean, personally, I think she should step down to Minister of State for DCMS. Yeah. I think that whoever the Minister of State is, I've not seen or heard of him even after he was put into office. I think he should become a backbencher, and I think Dean should get some experience to head the DCMS. So, wait a minute. Let me just interject here. Dean is currently lambasting. I don't know how you say it, lambasting. Is attacking his own MP. For not wearing a suit. Okay,
yeah, there we go.
I thought that we had something big on our hands. Right.
Dean's not like that. Dean's not like that.
So, what do you make of that opinion? Do you think she should step down to Minister of State?
She should, but she's not going to, because
Okay.
she's said many times that she will not be stepping down no matter the situation. To me.
To you, right?
In the DMs that we've said, I said after I said I have to say GB News has kind of ruined your reputation, and then she said I've ruined my reputation and it's all her fault.
So true.
And then she also thanked me for not exploding the situation.
Well, you have breaking GB News.
Yeah, breaking news.
UFC
I
has
have
just exploded the
yes.
situation.
And then Lily goes on to say, confrontation here. What the hell? Why the hell does Mason mean? What does Mason mean? I'm throwing the author under the bus.
Ooh.
Like you or the one who leaked the
Did she say those exact words? I'm throwing the author under the bus.
She says, "What the hell? What the hell does Mason mean? I'm throwing the author under the bus." Yes, I can get a screenshot of that.
Okay,
well, at that point, did she know that the author was in fact an undercover journalist that she had tasked with writing that bill?
I don't think. No, she thought she was a genuine friend. That's what she thought. She thought she was a genuine friend.
There are no friends in rogue politics, Ethan.
Yeah,
that is a lesson you should learn now.
Okay.
That is a lesson you should learn now.
PMQ's
You can ask your big brother.
We're going to be ending now. Okay. So,
well, Ethan, thank you for coming on. Can you, one last thing, Ethan, can you confirm now whether you are the brother of I'm Not a Safe Chatter?
I can confirm I am now.
Thank you for that, Ethan. He's I'm Not a Safe Chatter.
Well, I think that by default we just have to assume that based on our own evidence, which is that he sits basically in the same place during Watford games, and he sounds like I'm Not a Safe Chatter.
Cool. Okay. Anything else? Otherwise, we're going to end it here.
I guess just stay tuned with GB.
Shambles from the top to the fucking bottom.
Right.
Get him gone.
Right, that right there
is
doing
corporate sabotage currently.
Okay, corporate sabotage by ITV.
We need a DCMS joint strike on him.
I guess just stay tuned with GB News for the latest news on
we'll be back next week
on the DCMS. And if you'd like to view our exclusive DCMS leaks from our undercover journalist, which was planted into the DCMS, make sure to check our Twitter page, where you can also find our Discord channel, and we are hiring journalists who are willing to VC.
This has been the Sammy Show with GB News.
I also just want to apologise to Billy Boy, who's just DM'd me saying.